Don't know about anyone else, but I've got TikTok songs in my head 24/7. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to do this for a long time basically. Last night I sat down in my bed, I was bored, I had a headache, so I wrote down all of the pros and cons that I find about being cabin crew. So I thought I would just get them off my chest to you guys, which might help some of you in deciding whether this job is right for you. So let's get started. I also wanted to say hello to some of my new subscribers that have come over from TikTok. So welcome to my channel. Hope you enjoy all of my content and thank you for subscribing. So the first pro, discounted tickets. It's kind of a given really. Discounted tickets are good for personal use if you want to go on holiday or you want to travel more, or you can bring family and friends with you on your trips that you are working as well. So there's lots of benefits to having discounted tickets, as you can imagine. A con is working holidays. You sometimes have to work Christmas and New Year. More often than not, you only get one or the other off, and sometimes you have to miss birthdays, funerals, other special occasions. So just be prepared for that. You do have the option to request particular days off and also request for unpaid leave. However, it's not always granted, and if it's not granted for those special occasions, you do sometimes feel left out. So a big pro is traveling and being able to visit some amazing places. Not just traveling, but as well as the traveling, staying in amazing hotels. We stay in hotels upwards of 3-4 stars, so they're so comfy, the beds are insane, the food they do is insane. And I think just the whole travel experience in general is just a massive pro, as you can imagine. Another con is having a mixed up circadian rhythm. Now, if you don't know what circadian rhythm is, it's basically an internal body process that helps to regulate your sleep and wake pattern and runs over a 24-hour basis. We do get taught a lot about circadian rhythm in training to be cabin crew, as we are expected to work all times of the day. And if our body is in a position where it normally sleeps at that time and we are awake working, it does mess up your body and makes you extremely tired and run down. Having to travel many time zones, going both forward and back, is a massive strain on your body. Being run down is a big factor that makes people want to leave the job as cabin crew so early on into their career. I guess alongside of visiting some amazing countries is you get to experience some crazy cultures as well. I think this is a really massive positive in general because it broadens your perspective, and for me, it's made me appreciate everything I have at home, to see how some people in the world aren't as privileged as myself and other people in the job. So I think it helps to broaden your perspective of life in general. Weight gain is something that is hard to escape from in this job. As you have to eat plain food, it is pretty much unavoidable. Up in the air at altitude, your taste buds are slightly numbed, so catering do have to put a little bit of extra flavour into the food, which means extra calories and therefore extra weight gain. So it is hard to avoid. It's also quite hard to avoid snacking on some of the spare food that hasn't been touched by passengers. It's also really tempting to want to try different dishes on the plane from other cabins, such as in business class. It's good to try different foods so you can recommend different things to customers. So that's another thing that doesn't help weight gain either. And the final thing about weight gain is eating at different times of the day. Going back to circadian rhythm, your body's not used to eating at 4 o'clock in the morning. So sometimes that has to happen and you have to eat food to give yourself energy to stay awake and be alert for your job. So that's another thing that encourages your body to gain weight, is eating at the wrong time of day according to your circadian rhythm. Getting to work and meet different people. So this can be both a pro and a con. For me, I see it as more of a pro, purely because meeting so many people is so fun, and I guess learning from different people's experiences in the job as well. As some people have experienced medicals, some people have experienced emergencies of all kinds, so it's good to sort of gain experience from each other, as well as it's good to make friends. So as I said, some people see it as a pro, some people see it as a con. I started off seeing it as a con, but then I moved into seeing it as a pro because you get to make so many friends in this job. Unfortunately, you aren't going to get on with everyone that you work with. So one benefit to this one is that if you don't get on with someone, you don't have to work with them ever again. You'll hear a lot of people talk about stress and anxiety with this job, and I have to say it is true. And I think this comes from all factors of the job, such as having to be on time, having to look your best in your uniform, having to keep your knowledge up to date with the aircraft you're working on, medical procedures, evacuation procedures, and it's a lot to remember and a lot of stress for your brain. Also, things change all the time, so then you have to amend your knowledge to the new procedure, which is just so tough. Lack of sleep is another one there as well, which is a given. And being away from home as well. I think I noticed being away from family and people you're used to being around is quite a big shock to the system. It is very, very easy to become stressed and anxious in this job, so look after yourself. You have to. When you're en route, if you're not feeling like doing something, you have to do what your body's telling you to do, whether that's sleep, or if you want to go out and do something that you know is going to cheer you up, do it. You get to develop lots of people and social skills in this job. For me, it's massively helped my confidence, not just at work, but at home as well. Talking to so many different people in one flight encourages you to be flexible and easily adapt to different personality types, which is an amazing skill to have. This con is really silly, and I actually... Talking about aviation, I'm interrupted by aviation. So this is a con that, funnily enough, I didn't actually know about when I started the job, and that is standby. Now, if you're a flight attendant already, you know, and I can guarantee you, you hate standby. I know you do. Both home standby and airport standby, because when you don't want to be called, you are called. When you want to be called, you're not called. And for my airline, we have to be within 2 hours of the airport. We can be given more notice, but the minimum notice we can be given is 2 hours. So I live an hour and 20 minutes away from my base at London Heathrow. So it's risky and it is a stressful time when I have standby. I absolutely hate it with a passion, but it has to be done. In aviation, you always have a different schedule. 1 month is not the same as another. And for me, I've worked a 9-to-5 office job, was not for me. So this makes it a massive positive for me. I think having different rosters every month makes things so interesting in this job. Going back to what I said about standby and having to be within 2 hours of the airports, for me, I'm an hour and 20 minutes away and I really struggle with the commute. So that is another con for me, is the commute. I struggle with it. I used to drive and I've been trying to find different ways I can get to the airport without having to move nearer London, because I don't want to live near London. So if you do live quite a while away from the airport, be prepared that the commute is almost as hard as actually working the flight. You get to learn some insanely useful first aid skills when you become cabin crew, which is useful for on the job, but also useful for day-to-day life. And I think the most important skill that we learned was CPR, which I think everyone should know. It is so important and can save so many lives. Along with the first aid skills is training. I feel like training is more of a con than a pro. Once you've completed training, it becomes a pro, but during training it does feel like a massive con to the job, as it is so intense. No one can prepare you for how much you need to learn, so you need to go into your first day of training with a completely clear mind, a positive mindset, and keep telling yourself until the end that you can do it. Even though training is hard, it is important, and you have to be ready for any kind of scenario that can happen on that aircraft. You get to see from the inside all of the hard work that goes into running an airport, and it is insane. It's really nice as well, as I've opened up a new interest and a new hobby that I never knew I had, so my job is now my hobby. The final con I had is late notice rosters. Again, if you are cabin crew, you know how late we do get our schedules, which makes it really extremely hard to plan your next upcoming month. For us, we don't find out our duties till around about 2 weeks before the month begins. So this makes it extremely hard if you need to plan appointments for doctors. For me, having my hair and nails done, it makes it extremely hard. So the 4 final pros that I have are the uniform. So many people look up to you when you are wearing the uniform. It's so nice when you're walking through the Terminal 2 aircraft and everyone's just looking up at you as a group of cabin crew, and it makes me feel so proud to wear it. It's also nice to get so many compliments from passengers as well. Some people might find this one a con, but for me, I see it as a massive pro, and I think having your own space is so good. And by own space, I mean being away from your family, friends, relationships just for a few days to give yourself a breather. This is more so for relationships, but I think having a couple of days space away from your partner is so healthy. It makes you miss each other more, and when you get back, you're so excited to see each other again. A lot of people have asked me, is it hard to maintain a relationship being cabin crew? And I really don't think it is. I think it gives you the healthy space that you need from one another and keeps things interesting as well. As well as your regular days off that you are entitled to every month, you are entitled to annual leave as well as the option to request unpaid leave. So all in all in this job, you do get lots of time off, and I think a lot of people are surprised about that. The final pro I have for you is as soon as you step into the hotel room, drop your bags, that time is yours until you meet the crew for the next sector home. As long as everything you do when you're away is safe and you can operate the next flight home, you are absolutely fine. And this is why I said if you are feeling down or anxious, that time you have away is yours and you should spend it however you want to. And the good thing is as well is when you go and visit all of these amazing places, it's likely that that's not going to be your last time there, so you don't have to do everything in one trip and you can spread it across the trips that you have. So that is all of the pros and cons I have for you guys about my job as cabin crew. I hope you guys can see that there are a lot more pros than there are cons about being cabin crew, and I also hope you realise from this video whether the job is going to be right for you. My TikTok is doing so well at the minute. Thank you to everyone who is supporting me over there. If you are not, I will pop all of my socials on the screen now for you. Go give me a follow. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Your support means the absolute world to me. And I also thought I'd let you know that I've kind of got some sort of upload schedule now. I am uploading every Sunday between 10 and 12. So keep an eye on my channel every Sunday for new uploads, and I will also let you know on my socials. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.